following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
Oh.
Hi, and welcome to Adventures from the Shed. Here we are on the online edition of Adventures from the Shed. We're continuing our Never Gonna Give You Up campaign. And thanks bigly to the guy who came up with that name, who can say hi first.
What?
That'd be you, Chris.
It's me again. It's Chris playing Abraxas, the Dragonborn Paladin.
And I am, I forgot how we're doing things here.
No, it's fine. I'm unconscious.
You're unconscious, that's true.
Eli, Aerithnis Siegfried, the human fighter, played by Eli, am unconscious.
Yes, he is. And
there to defend me is...
It's me, the person you trust the most in the world to defend you. The human kite, or the halfling kite, I should say, Belgie Unmuffle. But, Randy, this is for you right here. This is an original Red Ranger, and it's
awesome.
signed by Austin St. John, though.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's what we get. Speaking of Randy, I'm Randy, and I am a human bard. Miles, axe grinder, Mize. Nice to meet you. I'm just getting woken up by a little halfling.
Yep. And I'm Joe. I'm part of this adventure as we continue here.
Hi, Joe.
I want to actually get the recap from the guy who's chewing and whose character is currently unconscious. So we're going to give Eli just a moment, and we'll do the recap. One of the things that I do want to remind people of is this is a group we put together through Facebook, through communications of email, text, etc. We've been together now for, I guess you would say, a couple of months from the time we first started. And so this is the one way to put together a group. All right, now we're going to get the recap from Eli of the last episode. And when we do a recap, we're looking for, 3-4 minutes maybe, or 1 minute if you can sum it up cleverly.
Last time on AFTS.
On this episode of Never Gonna Give You Up. Wait, that's not the line? Oh, last episode. Oh, my bad. We watched some orcs beat themselves up. Hey, if you can tell us what happened on
this episode.
This episode, rocks fall, everybody dies. But last episode, we saw a couple orcs beat themselves up. We mugged the other one for some information, and now we're asleep on the stairs.
You mugged a guy?
I'm asleep on the stairs.
Pretty much. I mean, if you intimidate him... Actually, I think the thing that put it over the top was Miles's persuasion.
Yeah.
He was intimidated to the point where he could be easily persuaded.
Let's not forget how useless I was.
That's how we get it done. We poke and prod until we get answers.
Exactly.
Broken rod.
One thing that I want to have in effect for Miles, because he didn't roll well before the sleep, and he only got a couple hours of sleep, Miles, until we go through another rest, will have a -1 to every roll.
Ooh.
Yeah. I failed.
You're exhausted.
Right.
You're in that state where you're like, did I just wake up?
What year is it?
Well, I just went to sleep. Why are you bugging me?
Yeah. I must have been sleeping. I woke up.
What happens?
All right. So the three of you now are able to see, again, in and out of cloud cover. The moon is able to shine it down a bit. And you can see what looks like two orcs coming far in the distance, a speck. Chances are, if they're looking up ahead, they might see you too. But they're there.
Is there an area in the staircase we can kind of hide, like they wouldn't see us if they came up? We can get like a little ambush zone.
A little farther up, it kind of goes around a corner. So yeah, maybe 50 steps up or so. It goes around a little bit of a corner, so you could probably go around the corner.
Okay. Involved getting Siegfried up, though.
Yeah, if Bell hasn't done so already during this time, he would have put the torch out. So
yeah. Well, I assumed he wouldn't have one going because he was sleeping. Right.
Just want to make sure. Well, yeah, I just want to make sure that it wasn't someone else didn't take it and were using it when they were on watch. So, if anything, you want to make sure. Okay, cool. So I'd wake up.
I was going under no light is being produced by the group.
Excellent. So I'll mark off that torch is gone.
Chris, what does Abraxas want to do? It sounds like he's in charge of this little maneuver.
Well, you meant we have to go further up from where we are to get to the corner. Okay, so...
Yeah.
I guess I could do that. I could pick up Siegfried and we can get it going.
Ooh.
Did anybody take the... yeah. Sorry. I didn't know my audio was going on. Did anybody take the time to get Siegfried out of his armor?
No.
So you're just going to pick up big old Jingle Jangle Man in his chainmail?
He can certainly try.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. I'll help. I'll hold up like a leg.
It's not our responsibility to touch you.
You're right. It's my wife's.
In those ways?
Because Bell's helping Abraxas, you can add 0.5 to your roll.
0.5. That might do it for me, actually. I mean, the way it's been going.
Yes.
Of course, we'll round up. You can add 1 to your roll. And it'll be a straight-up strength check.
All right. Can I use my athletics for this?
Well, yeah. Athletics. Because, this is a deadlift.
Yeah.
Or an unconscious lift.
And 9 plus 5, 14. Not too shabby. Right.
Nice.
Okay. 14.
You're able to move him a little.
14.5.
So
Yeah, I was looking for a 15. You're able to move him a little, but you're sure you can't get him there
Hey, you
before the
said you'd
orcs
round
would
up.
spot you.
Okay, I still have in my possession, as they're trying to pull him up there, can I move down the stairs a little bit and dump the rest of the oil in my flask out onto the stairs to try to make it
Yes,
slip?
you can.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would use the rest of my oil to do that.
And the intent there is to make them slip, yes.
Yeah, make them slip as they're coming up in the darkness.
And then light them on fire.
And then light them on fire.
I mean, that's my thing. That's my finish.
Unfortunately for them, they are not kites.
Nope. All right, so that's done. As they're getting closer, I don't know, when do you want to take an action? How far away from you do you want to take an action against them if you're going to? Or are you just going to wait for them to reach you?
Yeah, I would be about, as best I can in the darkness, hidden a little bit. And then as soon as they get within about 40 feet of the oil to see what happens. And then Abraxas, at this point, if he wants to light it on fire, however range he wants to be in.
Yeah, I got to be within 15 feet for that to happen. Which is fine for me. But I just wanted to get Siegfried at least a little bit out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
In case they rush past us or whatever.
So before they reach that point, you hear the familiar voice of the guy that you had held at bolt point. He's like, you're not supposed to be here. And the other orc is looking at him like, they're about 50 feet away, and you can kind of...
You know these guys? How do you know?
And they're saying it in common, they're not saying it in Orcish?
He said that in common, but they are looking at each other in Orcish.
Hey, you said we could be up here. You said keep on going. My buddy won't mind. Deception.
Okay.
So you're yelling that?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're essentially trying to deceive the other guy.
Yes. He just got punched in the face like a few hours ago by his buddies. So
He doesn't remember anything.
now his buddy let a couple of people go up. It's like...
All right, give me that perception roll, Miles.
Okay.
Deception, I should say. Sorry, not perception.
Okay, so +4 -1 +3. 11 plus 3 is 14.
You hear between the two of them some Orcish, and the other guy the other orc, he shrugs, and then they just keep walking in your direction. They're not brandishing their weapons or anything. They're just kind of walking up that way. They are probably 5 seconds from stepping in the oil. If you want to do anything about that.
Where do you guys go? Where are you guys going? Where are you going? What's up?
Home.
All right.
Knew we could follow them.
Our time is up. We go home now.
All right.
Why is he dead?
He's just taking a nap. You want to help us carry him up the mountain? Give you some gold.
At this point, they reach the oil, and the first one slips. And this is the guy that was knocked out earlier. He slips, hits his face right on the stairs, and he's out again. And he actually slides down like 10 stairs. And
sorry, our pet halfling had an accident.
And the familiar orc says, "What the fuck? Are you trying to kill us?"
No, that was just a part of the staircase.
That was there when we got here.
Yeah, when we got here, that was there. I mean, you should really put some warning signs on here for people who are coming up. We could have had a nasty fall.
We thought you left it for us to,
Yeah, exactly.
You should go now.
Well, we're going up. That's where we are going. As soon as this one wakes up.
No.
Can you go now?
Is there enough room for them to even get by us on these?
No.
No.
So I'm going to help.
Especially because he would have to carry his friend by you.
I'm going to help Abraxas grab Siegfried since I'm 6'1" and should be able to help carry him up.
Well,
all right. As long as you don't roll a 1, the two of you can.
Yeah. Why did you say that? See, he says it.
I gotta say it just to see if he rolls a 1.
Good luck.
5%. 5%.
What's my strength anyway? Keeping up
Not high
back and
enough.
forth. Plus 1, so it's a dead
you're
roll.
You're going to add to his 14, and he only needed a 15. So.
You got athletics? Can you pull it off?
17.
Hey.
Nice.
Up,
between
up.
Miles and Abraxas, you're able to find the right handholds on Siegfried because he's a heavy MF with all this armor on. You're able to find the right handholds, and it's like carrying furniture when you move. Eli's probably familiar with this now, and you're grabbing something by the bottom, and you got those ledges that will dig into your fingers and leave that mark for a day after you get up the flight of stairs. That's how your hands are feeling moving him.
These are the worst stairs to move furniture, by the way.
I mean, there's no safety rails here or anything like that. This is just very.
Could be worse. They could be covered in oil.
Yes, it could be.
Guess who has to go through that?
And as you start going, familiar orc says,
Reggie.
like a bunch of steps, there's a spot that you can hide.
Oh, yeah. So I was trying to get to.
I love this orc. I want to beat this orc.
And I'll go back to my deep voice. So, your village is supposed to be somewhere off to the west of here. Why are you heading up these stairs?
Village is south, and we go up to the tunnel and follow the tunnel.
There's a tunnel.
Where's John go?
There must be. We use it.
The tunnel goes to your hidden camp. Is that it?
I don't think it's hidden. I can find it.
All right.
Captain, we should continue going up the hill.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just thoroughly disgusted by this person, and
We've got to get to the corner.
Yeah. Yep. I turn and I say, just mind your step as you head up here. These stairs are.
I know now.
I think
slippery when wet.
I think you meant mind your step as you climb the hill.
Hey, Shatner.
So easy enough, and it's a bunch of steps, as he said. It's not that 50 or so around the corner. There's a couple of hundred steps. You're dragging Siegfried practically. Every third or fourth uneven step, his part of his armor bounces off a stair because you're just barely able to hold him up. And it's maybe, like I said, a couple hundred steps up. There's actually a little, call it an alcove, to the inside of the mountain, towards the mountain, and you can get in there and kind of around the corner. This is maybe 15 feet deep, and it's just a little bit of a hole in the mountain that somebody clearly dug out. It's not natural.
This is a good place to camp out for the night, guys. Let's go and drag him in here. By the way, I think dead weight is like 200 pounds more than regular weight. This dude's heavy.
Yeah. And that
I'll be glad you have to carry me up this mountain.
So at this point, what I want to be able to do is let you guys get through a long rest.
Okay.
As whoever watches first hears the orcs pass by, and you just hear orcish mumbling again, like they're talking to each other. And definitely the inflection on the voice. One is trying to convince, and one is not convinced. So as they're walking by, you hear this inflection. Dawn comes. Sun starts coming up. We are in shadow because the sun's coming up on the other side of the mountain, and you guys are all in this closed place anyway. So it stays dark for a little while, and you see the sun hit mountains off to the south of you as it's coming up. Everybody can wake up. We'll go through that. You had a long rest, so anything that's applicable there, go ahead. Miles will no longer have the -1. And you guys are now ready to continue.
I just want to point out, Siegfried and his armor alone, not counting any of his equipment, is 230 pounds.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's a bit of a slog getting him anywhere.
Yeah. And that's where working together, they were able to do it.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. So at this point, you are almost halfway up the mountain. And you figure by the way the stairs look and how they weave back and forth, it's probably going to take you half the day to get up the other half of the mountain. Unless anyone has anything special they want to prepare before you get up there or doing while you're headed up there, we're just going to go right up.
Nothing I want to prepare. Yeah, nothing I want to prepare. I just want to see if,
I'll make sure I have my shield.
If I can, I hand him back the shield. If during this time that we were in this area here, was there any other signs that anyone else has used this alcove, like potentially the 2 adventurers that came before, or is it pretty barren?
Roll, I'll let you pick investigation or perception.
I will do investigation. And that is a 13 plus 2, 15.
Okay. From what you can tell, it looks like somebody else was in here at some point, and it's regular boot prints. The orcs weren't wearing any footwear, but it looks like regular boot prints. Aside from that, there's not much. Like somebody probably came in here, slept for the night, and left, kind of the way you guys have done it. And the other thing I will say of note is, presuming that you guys will look on the way up, you don't see any tunnel. Just to throw that out there, because familiar orcs said they use a tunnel to go to their place. But you guys don't see it.
Lie.
It could be. Could be a lie.
Can't find it.
I still had the screenshot open of your dice rolls there, Jason. That's cool. The other thing is we're going to go back to the map, the hand-drawn map that's in the journal. And we're going to look at that map and say, if you look up the stairs that are going up, they kind of zigzag back and forth, right? And as you're reaching the top of the stairs, the top of the mountain itself is a little further up. By a little further, I mean like, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile or so, but it looks very steep and very precarious. There aren't stairs that continue to lead up the mountain, and is definitely not something easily traversed to go from the stairs to the top. You can, however, see much closer now a dilapidated guardhouse tower looking thing at the top. Is definitely made out of big stones, but some of them have fallen. It only has 1/4 of its roof left on it, and you can see it more clearly now. Oof. So with that, how are you guys going to mountaineer? Presuming you're going to continue going up to the tower.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, of course. Siegfried will just be very careful, keeping a cold axe handle to what I'm assuming to be the welt on his head from just passing out.
Yeah.
Bell would break out the grappling hook and be looking for a place where potentially he could chuck it up and safely secure it on something to help with the climbing.
Okay. Also, when you said cold, I was also thinking of the wind here, where you're getting towards the peak. There is a little more wind. It's kind of a steady, give it a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, constant, with little bursts, maybe up to 15 or 20. Not particularly horrible, but if you were holding onto that shield on your back when one of those comes by, it might be a little tough. I know you're not now, but the kite could have happened.
I'm tempted to tie that rope back to him.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to kite me up the mountain.
Yeah.
It might work. If you keep the
Bring
shield
the
between you and the
grappling hook with
mountain, you won't die.
All right, Abraxas, we throw on 3. 1.
Yeah.
I do want to say that
happening.
as we're mountaineering, Siegfried is going to make it a point to take breaks because he did pass out from overexertion last night.
All right.
He's no stranger to this, but it's not fun.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to get is a sense of how your character would handle this. And I'm going to give you some skills, or for that matter, just dexterity. But aside from dexterity, you could do athletics, acrobatics, survival, or nature. I'm going to let you put it wide out there so that you guys can give me a description of what it looks like when your character is kind of, clawing its way up the side of a mountain, a nearly sheer cliff. Not sheer, but nearly. Who wants to go first?
So, yeah, Bell would, again, evaluate the sheerness, try to find, again, for the grappling hook, the best place to chuck it up there, then using his dexterity, almost like a circus performer's climb up and hand over fist to try to get up to the point there. And, again, maybe using the rope in the mountains a little bit to scale up the actual side.
That actually sounds like you could use acrobatics.
Yep, that's what I think as well.
Well, let's go with that. Go ahead and give me a roll.
15 plus 5, 20.
20. So you're able to find a spot where the grappling hook catches, and you're sure it could only hold your weight, but it can get you up there. And let's presume you've got a standard 50-foot rope. It goes up about 40 feet. And so you could get yourself up there, but it probably wouldn't hold anyone else because everyone else is substantially larger and heavier.
Okay.
What does it look like for Miles here? How's Miles going to try and get up there?
He's just going to look for the best handholds that he can find and carefully with his, I guess, would that be dex or acrobatics? Just climb the best he can. Try not to rush it too fast. And he doesn't really have much rope skill or anything else, or any grappling hooks, no fancy stuff
acrobatics.
Like that. So.
I would accept acrobatics. You're just kind of trying to scramble up and hold on as best you can.
Yep.
Go for it.
16 plus 3, 19.
Oh, yeah. You're easily able to make your way up.
This one's been fired
not as bad
so
as you
far.
thought. Yeah, that one's not as bad. It's not as bad as you thought. As you reach the next level, you can find an easy spot for your hand. As you reach up again, you find an easy spot for your foot. So you're able to keep moving. How about Abraxas? You're just going to claw his way up?
Yeah, basically he's got those talons, man. Just going to take it slow and steady.
You use what your mama gave you.
Nothing fancy on this guy. Yeah. Slow and heavy using my athletics. Hey, 13 plus 5, 18. Not too shabby.
There you go. Same idea as with Miles, except you're able to actually shove your claw into the side.
He makes his own handhold.
Yes. You have your own, what are the pitons or whatever they're called?
Yeah.
Pitons?
Pitons, pittons. We call them pecans around here. Pecans.
And then Siegfried, I wanted to hear yours because it sounds like you're trying to take it easy.
Well, he does want to take it easy, but if you got a job to do, you got a job to do. How cold is it around up here?
At this point, with the sun just starting to hit you, you're in the low 50s, maybe high 40s. Overnight in the little alcove you were in, there was really no wind, and you stayed in the high 40s, low 50s, almost the same temperature. But now with the sun, when the sun hits you, you automatically have that extra 5 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that feeling. All right.
Yeah.
So here's what Siegfried's going to do. He's going to take a couple minutes to limber up in his armor. Then he's going to take it all off, take all of his equipment off, wrap it all together, tie it to a rope, and tie the rope to his waist. Then he's going to limber up in the cold.
And Miles is playing a stripper tune for you.
Yep.
Hell yeah, he's going to need all the
motivation.
motivation he can get. Once
Barbara Braxis is throwing coins.
I'm coming, Ma.
So you will be at least a minute to 5 minutes behind everyone else, depending on the speed.
Because I'm taking off my armor. Yeah.
Yep.
After all the armor is off, my equipment is all bagged up and tied around my waist so that it dangles.
Yep.
I'm gonna spend a little extra time to limber up in the cold, get used to the temperature. From there, I'll be taking my hand axes and using the beards of the axe as climbing picks.
Let's go with athletics. You got a good bonus there.
Woo!
You can be an athlete.
Yes. That's what all of that description was pointing towards. I don't want to do this any other way. Remember, Siegfried's a goat herd. Goats get into some pretty weird places. You got to be ready to climb or fall on your ass.
So, Bill, you got any threes?
I got 2 threes. Go, there you go.
Yeah,
as you're playing your card game, you just like hear the bleating of a goat.
Everyone else has scaled a good 100 feet plus. You're closing in on a third of the way there or so, and you can look back, and Siegfried's still tying this rope around him with his all of his gear. But what did you roll, Eli?
Remember my only roll last session?
Was it a 1?
No.
Yeah.
No.
My total is a 6.
Oh no!
But you rolled a 1.
Yes, 1 plus 5. I think I'm going to stop rolling my regular dice and just do the D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
That seems to be the way to go.
I'm done.
As you guys are watching back, he ties everything on. He reaches up, grabs a handhold, grabs another one.
Oh, remember, I'm using my hand axes
and his
as climbing
equipment
picks.
starts tumbling down the side of the mountain.
So, what's your next character going to be?
Oh, he's still holding on, but his equipment loosed itself from the rope and is now sliding down the side of the mountain.
So we just hear a loud cling, cling, cling down the mountain.
Pretty much.
Why'd you let that go? We already been down there, man. We don't want to go back down there.
Finding my way home.
Yep. I'm just gonna yell down to him. You doing all right, buddy?
Yeah. Where's my great sword?
No, you didn't need that.
Was that part of the pack?
Yes, all of my equipment would have been just tied together.
Okay. So you just have clothes on. That's about it.
And his axes.
And his axes, because he was using his handles, yeah.
So Siegfried has lost his sword?
Nothing is lost yet. It's just down below you, as far below you as everyone else is above you.
100 feet.
Yeah, at least.
Got any tents?
Nope,
I'll catch up.
Go fish on that one. No, got any tents.
And I'm going to go back and I'm going to get all my stuff. I'm going to make sure that everything is accounted for,
So we're going to
especially
take a
my
short
great sword.
rest.
I mean, technically, you guys can, or you can proceed and just wait for him to catch up. Or, I mean, you guys could, now that you're up there and waiting for him, maybe somebody could try to help him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have my grappling hook. I'm going to try to find a place to secure it very nicely so it can hold his weight and then chuck the rope down to him.
Okay. So we'll take that for Siegfried as you're able to get down to your stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd like one more roll to get up to that rope. I'm going to give you, let's see, what did you have, Bell, for, let's see, survival is +1. So you get a +1 to your roll, Eli.
Nice. I got a +6.
Nice. And if you roll a 1, it's still a 1.
Yeah.
This time he rolls a 0 and he still gets a 6.
So after making sure that all of my equipment is together, I will have my great sword like on its own strapped to my back. I'm not letting that go anywhere. And
You want to let Jason roll it for you?
well, I mean, if you're giving me, if you're offering,
You got a +6 right now. You're good. I believe in you.
Just use the D&D Beyond dice. It's fine.
What'd you end up
I
with,
believe it.
Eli?
I ended up with 10.
So
I'm getting up there.
You rolled
it's
a 4.
taking a while. Yeah.
And that's actually what I was going to say. The 10 is right in the middle. And I'm not looking for anything too special. It's how quickly you get up there. It's going to take a little while.
How far has the sun moved now over our heads since
Oh
you've been
gosh,
climbing?
it's close to noon at this point. You guys have been at this for maybe 3 hours.
The sun's in my eyes.
You've played so much Go Fish that you're starting to wear the cards out. And
Yeah,
it's been a little while, right?
I say if he's using the rope,
talons.
I might look at Abraxas and Miles and be like, "Do you think we could just pull him up? Do you think that would be faster than just trying to climb?"
Possibly. Let's all throw our ropes down.
So at sometime around 1-ish in the afternoon, everyone is. You can see the tower a lot closer now. I mean, you guys have gone further up, and the outside of it looks like I said, that pieces have fallen out. Rocks or stones, big stones have fallen out, and in front of you are a couple of those stones, and it makes it easier to get up to the top. You have some nice big, heavy, flat spots that you can step on, and now this tower at the top, the mountain looks like it's pretty much been leveled at the top. Something that would do something like that, it's either a big old natural event or a wizard, right? This is a couple of 100 feet of just flat at the top of the mountain. The tower occupies most of it. There's about 30 feet around. Think of it as mostly a circle, not exactly, but close. A craggly circle, that's what I'll call it. And the tower's in the center. There's a arched opening in front of you with just a couple slivers of wood still hanging on to an iron hinge. And you can see in with plenty of sunlight inside the tower. You can see what looks like a campsite that somebody has deserted, but there's still smoke coming up from embers in the site.
We see the small footprints, small boot prints or whatever, small feet.
Well, those guys were dead, weren't they?
Well, we didn't know that until now.
We didn't know how far they made it.
Yeah.
We had no clues. Just we know that they made it to the base of the mountain.
It ran away. To be technical, they went in a different direction. So you guys went this way. They went towards the orcs. Anyway,
I see now.
I see that now. As far as
was.
footprints, if you guys want to look around, survival, nature, investigation, perception.
I will look around.
Whoever wants to do this, give me how it looks, what other people see, and we'll figure out what the right skill is for you.
Yeah, for me, go ahead, Chris.
I'm going to do my usual sniffing around and kind of just looking for tracks like I did last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even see if there was a kind of food that was made here, like what kind of food it was. Maybe they'll give us different clues to different kind of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll use my survival for this.
Yeah, I would like to, again, pull out my journals and then start looking and trying to compare the images that I have in there with, what I'm actually seeing, and, try to see if I can verify some of the information that I have in there versus what is out on there.
Okay. So what you got, Abraxas, for your survival roll?
13 plus 3, 16.
Okay. The footprints, there are footprints up here. Half of them are orc and half of them are booted. I assume you share that information?
Yep.
When Belle sees the booted footprints, they look just like the ones that were in the alcove.
Okay.
And you do smell on the air some sort of meat that was cooked. Maybe not a familiar meat, but there's definitely meat that was cooked over this fire not too long ago.
I would like to say, while they're doing this, Siegfried is going to take the time to throw all his armor back on, all of his equipment back in order, and Gambison, armor, surcoat, his backpack. Yeah, that's all he's doing while this is going on.
Okay. And what's Miles up to while this is going on? Is he checking the place out or keeping guard or whatever?
He's going to look around, and he's curious because he was still wondering about this tunnel that they claimed that they had, but he did not see, as we discussed earlier. So I'm just going to look around for a bit.
Okay, now for Bell, Jason, I'm not sure if we had established a skill or something for him referring to the journal. Do you recall?
As far as a skill, no, there's no skills set for referring to the journal.
So what I'll do then is let's just make up an intelligence roll. What I'm trying to do here is let you put together clues that you can find in it. And that to me sounds like intelligence.
Well, Bell is incredibly smart here.
He's the smartest one of the group.
As far as the people in this area, Bell is very smart.
Yeah.
But not that smart. That is a 5, no modifier.
So 7 total.
No, 0,
you
no,
don't.
it's 5, 0, nothing.
The book doesn't give you, the journal doesn't give you any help in this case. There was, or there is in the journal what looks like a rough sketch of the tower, but it looks just like this tower. So it might be accurate, but there's nothing else there that you can kind of link to get any insight into what's going on.
All right. Bell's so excited, though. Bell's like, the tower, it matches. It's the same tower.
Is there a direction the footprints went?
It looks like the footprints came from and went back to the staircase.
Okay.
And the staircase direction, I should say. There's, well, you know what? Give me an investigation roll, Chris. Investigation or intelligence is going to be the same thing unless you're proficient.
Well, that's going to be bad for me.
Uh-oh.
All right, here we go. Investigating. That's a 4 minus 1, so 3 is the magic number.
So let's put it this way. You think that they're headed...
It looks like they went into the fire. I don't...
Yeah, they're definitely going to and from the tower, but as far as where they lead to, the direction is in towards the side where the staircase is. They can't lead to the staircase from here because the staircase is a few hundred feet below you.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about Miles, what Miles is thinking.
Dude.
Yeah, I would like to apologize, full disclosure. I was writing a song called The Fall of Siegfried when you were discussing where we were going that last time, so that's why I said I was just investigating the area. Because even I don't know where we went.
Yeah. Bruh. The
So we went
disrespect.
to the tower. My bad.
So within the tower, it like I said, it's pretty big. It's, I don't know, it's a circle. The side to side of it is, I'm trying to think of what the numbers I gave. Probably at least 80
like
feet.
70. Yeah, you said like, because of what, 30, 100 feet and then 30
it's
is,
big. Yeah. So there's a lot of space in here. The stones that it is built from are like, they're rectangle-ish, and the depth of them is about 3 feet, and they're about 2 feet high. So you get the sense of how big this place is. There's an old staircase that it looks like it has been repaired, and it's kind of a spiral that goes up around the outside of the tower. Every step is in appears to be in working condition, not like the door where there's just a sliver of wood hanging from the iron hinge. But the staircase does go all the way up to the open roof, the open ceiling.
well, they can get a better look from up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But before we go up there, fellas, I just gotta say, we made it. We're at the top of the mountains of the lost.
All right, I'm tagging this bitch.
Exactly. Abraxas, you haven't. Miles, not to interrupt you when you were making your beautiful sonnet of the fall of Siegfried, but
What? You guys say something?
you're saying that you did a great job there. The effortlessness, you did a great job. But
Yes,
Miles,
Bill.
you're a man of many entertainment talents. You wouldn't be able to say maybe draw a heroic picture of us here at the very top for just record keeping, would you?
Oh, indeed. Yes.
Nice.
I knew that you were going to be very good on this mission here. So, how would you like us? Would you like us to pose in front of the spire? What would you like here?
Yeah, let's pose right in front of it. Let's have you guys pose there, and I'll just draw myself in.
I mean, absolutely. I can. Yeah. Yeah, because I want this for posterity. When we return, people can see us up there in all of our glory.
Nice. It's going to end up being a bunch of stick figures, one that looks like a dragon.
One guy's real small.
Instead of the circle head, it's just like a weird, like, oval
Pointy.
with like a spike on the end.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to look like a little stick figure
No,
baby
coming out of it.
on it as well.
So for Abraxas, Chris, one of the things I recall is he doesn't know the written word. What is his mark? What would he scratch into the side of the tower?
For him, he would just try to copy that emblem that he has, which he found out was Gordon the Deceiver, but he kind of digs it.
Oh, all right. That's cool. You could retrace those. Oh, my gosh.
There we go.
What is that bat thing?
I just made up a bunch of stuff in art school back in art class in high school back in the day.
Oh, cool.
I like
Beautiful.
it.
Beautiful.
That's dope.
Is that an astronaut introducing a bat to a pumpkin?
Oh, no. It's just a crazy thing. I don't know.
Cool.
Like a
Take a
Balrog
picture
in the
and send it to you
background.
guys.
Yeah. So someone wanted to go up the staircase. Well,
Yeah,
first
definitely.
off, I want to see how good this art project comes out. And is it going to be a painting, a scratching? I mean, do you have supplies with you to do some kind of art project?
Let's see.
I have a forgery kit which has ink and things inside it.
I have the cartography tools, so I do have some stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
yeah.
could draw
I
outlines. of people.
on my person don't have anything like that, so I could definitely borrow one of theirs if they wanted him to go and do that.
So essentially like the page of a coloring book where there's the black outline, it just won't have any colors to put in it.
Excellent.
Finish it later.
Okay. Oh my gosh, let's say performance. I like the idea of performance.
Plus 4.
The idea,
So-
well, the point to what Jason said for Bell, he wants to be remembered. So you have to have something that's memorable, and I'm going to treat this as a performing art, as you
This will
will.
be how well I draw it later too. So let's find out. Have something to put on the site.
Nice.
15 plus 4 is a 19.
Oh yeah, it takes some time, and as long as you guys are willing to wait, you're going to be there through dinner, close to sunset.
Yeah, I'm
Raxus, can you stop flicking your tail?
I don't have a tail. I don't have a tail.
My bad. Let's move it.
That's not my
I
tail.
was going to say. I didn't want to say it, but you know.
I'm just really happy to be here, guys. I love y'all.
Don't stare.
I'm going to try to pose in the wind as best as I can, very heroically.
Put that shield back on his back.
Well, for that, you could find a side of the tower to stand against where you wouldn't have as much wind, so that should be relatively easy. So after that's done,
To the tower.
well, yeah, one of the things I don't really keep track of, and we've talked about this before, is rations. At this point, nothing bad has happened where you would be running out. You guys would still have plenty of food, but we're not going through and ticking off a box each time we're having a meal. But during this time, you guys would have had to taken the time to eat once or twice at least because all the exertion of going up the mountain.
Of course.
So we'll call it after dinner. Maybe you're sitting there admiring the artwork while you eat. Would you guys be building a fire to eat, or are you just chucking granola, or how does this work?
Siegfried to be chucking granola. It's the most
Yeah.
logical
it's
thing to
still
do.
daytime, right? So I wouldn't mind a fire.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would
it's
I
evening.
would say.
It's supper time.
I like hot food.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was an old campsite there, so I imagine that we could probably just use some of the stuff they had there for grilling and things.
Still
Yeah,
smoldering.
somebody had positioned a few of the stones around to make a fire pit, and then outside of that are a few stones for like benches. So that's what this campsite looks like, and it takes up like a corner of the circle. It's right in one of the corners of the circle.
Yeah. It's
where
all
you'll find
corners.
Yeah.
It's made of corners.
So let's say that goes through, or that's finished up. You guys want to go up, yes?
Yeah, I definitely want to check things out while there's still some daylight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The tower itself is a good 60, 70 feet high, and that's one of the reasons you can actually see it from that distance, from like down in Ket, where you can see up there because it's a wide tower that's also very tall. The staircase is in surprisingly good shape. There are some stairs, some of the wooden stairs creak a little, but the bracing underneath looks like it's done very well. It looks like fresh iron, nothing rusted. And so somebody apparently uses this. And as you're going up, you pass by windows, not glass windows, cutouts, openings in the walls where you can see out. And when you're about 2/3 of the way up, one of the openings where you look out, and think of these as like an upside-down shield, flat on the bottom, arched on the top, but it comes to a point. Whatever that shape is actually called, I don't know. But they're like that. When you look out that window, you can actually see what is probably the orc encampment to the south of where you are. It looks like an orc town. On the map, it was labeled as encampment, but it's probably grown since then, because it isn't what you would, at least what I would picture of an encampment. You're talking 40, 50 things in a camp, tents and what have you. There, from here, you can tell there are buildings, and you can see the tiny little specks of figures moving around, but it is off in the distance at least a couple miles.
Do those buildings look like they're similar construction of this tower here, or they look completely different?
From here, it's hard to tell. Just by the color of them, you can figure that most of them are made of wood. Instead of gray, they're mostly brown. But they're specks off in the distance.
Gotcha. Okay.
Farther up the tower, as you get towards the top, there is a landing. And at that landing, there are set up a couple of heavy crossbows on stands with a stand next to each one that has bolts just lined up in the stand. Like this is a spot to be used for defense.
Okay, I'd look at Sigfrid at that point and be like, "Hey, buddy, you're the most probably militaristic of us here, and I know you've done guard work here. Why would they have things like this at the very top of a mountain that seems very hard to get to? I mean, it seems a bit unnecessary to me."
It's extremely necessary. Look around you. You could probably see Ket from here. I know you can see Ket from here.
Well,
you can see the guard tower from Ket.
Yeah.
But these bolts here, I don't think that they would reach the towns, right? And
They don't need to.
we're on a pretty much a sheer climb up.
All that these crossbows need to defend against are people coming to the tower. I'd be surprised if these bolts could make it beyond the ledge.
Oh,
Let's find out how far they can go.
Yeah, we can.
I actually do want to take a minute to look at the quality of the crossbows, like if they've degraded at all, how well crafted they might have been, and if possible, if I could just take some time to use mending, like over the course of a couple hours to fix it up if I can.
Well, for that you don't have to, because they are in great shape. The strings are recently waxed. The mechanism is freshly oiled. You can actually smell oil on the mechanism. The wood is barely used. It looks like these sit. There's no wear spot where somebody would hold it up against their shoulder or even lean against it or even around the trigger. Everything, it looks practically new, and they're in very good shape. I'll just say it. From what you can guess, they're not constructed by orcs because they're of a better
far
quality.
Too fine.
Yeah. Yep.
Bill.
Yeah.
Can I see your crossbow for a second?
Pulls it out, hands it over.
Looking at Bill's crossbow, does it look like it's owned by somebody? It looks like it's worn, been used?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to start pointing that out. Like, look at the differences in the wood here. The way your hand would grip it here. You've slowly made indentations. You've stained the wood. There's none of that here. These are fresh crossbows and presumably fresh bolts.
Yep.
What I want to know is why people keep coming back.
Well, they're not orc made.
Well, I just want to know who.
Oh, definitely not.
I just want to know who made it.
Yeah. So who's paying the bills?
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty significant construction to get it all the way up the mountain. I mean, I'm not sure who would go to this trouble and for what reason.
Well,
Can I look around for any remnants or clues of somebody who's been here before, as far as anything that they might have left behind, like a scrap of clothing, a note from a journal or something?
Let's go with another investigation roll for that.
Okay. That's a natural 20 plus 2.
Woo! All right. Yes. It looks, from what you can tell, it looks like both orcs and other humanoids have spent time up here. You are able to discern a little bit of orc footprint claw in the floorboards where you're standing, and there is, in one corner, there is a spent torch, and orcs don't need torches, so apparently there was some other type of being up here that needed something to help them see in the dark.
I can tell you why the tower was constructed. It's easy. You can see everything. It's an easily defensible position. The materials would be easy to gather nearby. I mean, look at what they've done to the mountain.
There's one thing that orc said. He said shamans.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean they have to be orc shamans.
Doesn't sound
True.
right.
Well, it wasn't the crossbows turning us on our way up here. I mean, obviously no one's here right now, but you'd think something so well armored would have someone here trying to defend it.
Here's the other thing. That fire was still smoldering, so they didn't leave too long ago, and nobody walked by us, so they had to go someplace up here.
Well, why run if they had such well defenses against anyone approaching?
They might not have known we were coming.
Maybe they want to keep hidden. There is the City of the Lost on the map, right?
Can we see anything from now that we're up here? I mean, we can see down towards that side. And on the other side, is there any remnant of anything beyond that?
It's tough to see overall through some of the cloud cover. There's probably something off to the, northeast-ish. But it could just be a trick of the mountain shapes and hills and what have you. But there's probably something over there. And you can see back to Ket, as was mentioned earlier. You can definitely see there. And you can see like mountains as far as the eye can see to the east.
Well, is there anything mentioned in the journal that Agent Zero might have put in there about, I don't know, a passage that's only viewable at a certain time or a certain way to do something, or I don't know.
Well,
I'm just grasping here, man.
The journal is a little bit, it's a little inconclusive, unfortunately. It does mention that he made his way over to the City of the Lost, and from there he made his way back after he subdued a vicious evil, but it doesn't say exactly what it was. I thought when we got up here, it would be much clearer to see, what was going on, but this just raises, I think, more questions than answers on anything. Because from where I'm standing right here, and I'm like pulling myself up to like the edge of the window, I assume because I'm short, I can't see anything as far as the City of the Lost. And in the journal, it says that when he got up here, he was able to clearly see, but there's no mention of crossbow bolts or orcs being this high up.
Well, Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Siegfried.
Where?
Where?
Well,
Here.
Here.
I'm trying to process all of this. It doesn't make sense.
Well,
Siegfried's going to look over to where the crossbow bolts are pointing at again, and just
they're
over.
on swivels. They can be turned all the way around.
Right, but if they're positioned in front of... Wait, this is at the top of the tower? Where it's like mostly destroyed?
Yep.
Okay.
So they can shoot out, in, down, up.
Oh, nice. They're on gyro. Where?
We could see the floor of the tower then, kind of, or part of it.
Yeah, you're on a platform near the top, like within like 10 feet of the top. You're in this platform, and you just look over the edge and you can see the 70 feet down to the floor because it's a spiral stair that goes around it.
Is there anything that will look different from up here than on the floor, like where we came in at?
It's actually getting dark down there, so you can't see much. You can't see anything out of the ordinary. Let's put it that way.
Thank you.
Shamans came up here though. Is there any potential? I don't know if anyone here is good with magic or things like that, but is there any magical sense? Does anybody here get the sense that rituals were done up here or spiritual kind of things? If they were shamans, obviously this place is important. If they went to all this trouble to build this thing up here.
Yeah, I'll go back down to the floor and see if I can sense anything, Joe.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's just
using divine.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to go down like to where I guess not where the campfire was. It's kind of like off to the side, but kind of in the middle of the place.
Okay.
See if I can sense anything. And granted, most of it's I could tell if there's like a hallow spell or obviously a location of celestial fiend undead, but 60 foot.
Okay. That just happens. There's no roll or anything.
No, I can do it 3 times before a long rest.
Okay. Does it give any description of how you determine this, or can you describe to me what this might look like?
We'll say he'll close his eyes, he grasps his emblem, and you can see like smoke kind of coming out of his nostrils when he's concentrating, and then maybe the smoke will kind of like veer off to a certain side if he senses something.
And you're at the base, you said, at the bottom.
Yep. Yeah. On the inside.
You know that right at the edge of where you can sense there is something undead, and it's up above you.
So straight up, but not off to a certain...
I mean, outside of the tower, up above you.
Okay.
So like 50 feet up that way, you know.
Gotcha.
Is anybody with him, or are people still up on the platform?
Miles is about to go down, but he was wanting to say to Bell, maybe we're looking not outward, we should be looking inward. Like maybe there's a trap door or something. I've heard stories about these tunnels hidden inside places. Maybe the path we need to find the hidden city's in here somewhere.
Maybe the real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
All right, enough of that.
No, I mean that's brilliant there, Miles. I mean, good insight on that. I don't see anything here though, but let's take a thorough look around.
So he continues downstairs and starts looking around, like pushing things over and
I would be heading down as well, looking on the sides that he's not looking on, trying to cover as much space as possible.
Siegfried has a hunch.
Yeah.
And he's going to be looking around the tower at the way things are arranged, the position of the crossbows, their mountings, the ammo boxes, the windows, the staircase, how everything is in relation to each other, and see if something feels off. I want to roll an Arcana to see if this is some sort of like geomancy.
Yeah. Okay. And Jason, you were describing something for Bell that he was checking out?
Yeah,
I want to see if these things coincide.
Yeah, Bell would be looking for secret entrances, trapdoors. I was assisting Miles basically with looking to see if there was anything hidden in here that led to an underground tunnel or something into the mountains that led out to another path or something like that.
Okay, so we're going to take the one roll for Siegfried, and we're going to add +2 onto that with everybody kind of looking around. Woo! Actually, we're going to make it a +3 because Abraxas was concentrating on stuff as well.
Yay!
So you were going Arcana?
Yes. So that's a. You said it was a +3 or +2? +3. Okay, so I've got a +4 to this roll. That is a 14.
Yeah, +3. Yes. So 14 on the die or 14?
14 total. 10 + 4.
Okay. As you were looking at the positioning of things, you see it's really just set up so that it looks like is primarily to defend against something flying. For those looking for something secret, around the floor, there are several different floorboards that are loose. There's clearly something underneath here as well. Even though most of the boards feel like they're on rock, there are some boards that feel looser. Just as you're discovering these things, finding these things, Abraxas is the first to hear, but everyone hears this horrible wailing from outside just as the sun sets. And I need y'all to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, jeez.
Fun.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Piercing into your ears.
Jeez, Rick.
Oh, actually, this is probably my best roll yet.
Yeah?
18 plus 1, 19.
I have a
Nice.
15 plus 1, 16.
Okay.
11.
Okay.
First roll.
13.
All right. So
10 plus 1, 11, by the way.
Miles is unable to handle the noise and just kind of passes out. Everybody else, you're going to take 5 points of damage as your ears feel like they're about to bleed and your head is going to explode.
This is worse than my singing.
And right at the tail end of that wail, you can hear, "It's the end of the episode."
Damn it.
Damn it. Damn it.
So we'll wrap this one up with a horrible wailing.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by onejoeyoung. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.